Hello, I'm the Deaf Geek. This is my retro review for She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Episode 8, Ribbit and Rip It. In this episode, Jennifer Walter was asked to take on a case. Her client, Leapfrog, is suing the same guy who designed She-Hulk's costume. She didn't want to, but her law firm insisted, due to Leapfrog being extremely rich. So Jennifer reluctantly brings her costume designer to court. To her surprise, the opposing attorney is Matt Murdock, also known as Daredevil. Later, Jennifer discovers that Leapfrog was actually the one causing the destruction. Leapfrog kidnapped the designer and forced him to create a new costume. This results in a superhero team-up between Daredevil and She-Hulk. They work together to capture Leapfrog.
She-Hulk smash.
When I saw this sequence, it brought back fond memories. Daredevil's Netflix series was famous for its long, continuous fight scenes. This scene was a callback to those type of shots. That's why I immediately chose this as my good. However, I do have to admit, I wonder why this scene was shot in blue light. Is there some sort of theme I'm missing? I also enjoyed seeing She-Hulk's fighting style. I think this is her first actual superhero battle scene. She's had skirmishes before, but this is her first fight. I got a kick out of seeing this comic book style battle on the screen.
But I believe I would be ethically compromised in representing a client against Jacobson because I like my nice clothes and I don't want to piss him off.
You've handled a client who had to sign a conflict waiver before, in a case, one would argue, is a lot more personal than this one.
Yes, and I would love not to be in that position again.
Also, he's making me a dress for the gala.
Very well, Miss Walters. I suggest that you try to come to an agreement with Mr. Jacobson so then a filing would not be necessary. Understood?
I chose this clip for two reasons. The first reason is because, that's such an obvious conflict of interest here. Yet Jennifer's law firm still forced her to do the case. It's a bit unethical. I know it's a comedy law show, so reality is somewhat pliable, but this still came off as stilted and off-putting. The second reason has to do with the CGI for She-Hulk. Something about it just seems off. It doesn't quite feel finished. The movement is too smooth, and it just hits that uncanny valley feel. I just feel like, the FPS, frames per second. It just doesn't sync up correctly. Like it's too fast or something. It just feels off. I just feel a tad bit uneasy every time I see She-Hulk in her CGI form. It's been a consistent thing throughout this season. However, it just felt a bit more explicit here, so that's why I chose it for my bad.
Do you want to see who She-Hulk really is?
My identity is not a secret. This is busted.
This is the truth, presented by Intelligentsia. She-Hulk does not deserve your attention. She does not deserve your praise. She does not deserve the power she stole from the Hulk.
Oh my god, can somebody cut this off?
She's not good enough to be a superhero.
Please? Okay, can we stop this?
And she's a slut.
Throughout this whole season, there's been hints dropped. Somebody has a personal vendetta against She-Hulk. There's that website designed to mock She-Hulk, that weird acquire her blood stuff. Josh ghosting Jennifer, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now we finally get the resolution of all of those dangling plot threads. This resulted in a scene that caused me to go, what? Somebody hacked a feed to publicly shame She-Hulk at a gala. All of her previous misdeeds have a spotlight shone on them. Basically, this is setting up the grand climax of the next episode. Here are my thoughts regarding this 8th episode of She-Hulk. First, it was a thrill to finally see Daredevil. Yeah, he acted a bit different compared to his Netflix portrayal. He didn't quite have the same level of righteous rage here. But to be fair, the tone of the two television series are a tad bit different. It was good to see him again, as the last time was in Spider-Man No Way Home. He recently had his own MCU show, Born Again, which just came out. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm glad that Daredevil is integrated into the MCU now. Now we can look forward to more Daredevil stories. I enjoyed the dynamics between Matt Murdock and Jennifer Walters. Their mutual attraction made sense, since they're both superhero lawyers. And of course, what happened? Although I was already spoiled about that aspect, it wasn't shocking, but the lead-up to that was interesting. I hope She-Hulk eventually shows up in Born Again, maybe a bit more serious version of She-Hulk. Anyway, I did enjoy this episode, as it was good. The leapfrog character was amusingly inept. Yeah, that's affluenza for you. In any case, the episode was amusing. My rating for this episode is a 8 out of 10. This is the Deaf Geek, and thanks for watching.